Hello all, in today's video I will be checking the new Pulsar X2V2, the mini version to be more precise. These V2 mice were released recently in mid-August 2023. These are the dimensions of the mini version. The V2 version improves on the old one by using optical switches, some minimal structural improvements, and the new Nordic MCU that enables 4K polling rate. They keep the same shape and sensor as in the first iteration. First, let's have a look at the package content. Looking at the coating, it is similar to the one found on the Logitech Pro X Superlight. It is smooth, without any grainy-like feeling that mice from Razer have, as the Orochi V2 for example, or the ones from SteelSeries like rival-free wireless. I prefer mice with the grainier-like coating, as the one found on the X2V2 is not the best suited for dry hands in my opinion. If you have sweaty hands or live in a humid environment, the fingerprints and oily smudges will be visible compared to grainy-like coatings. When comparing shapes, I don't think that the Pulsar X2V2 could ever be considered as a super light mini, as the shape is not ambi and the hump is a bit further in the back. The mouse 1 and mouse 2 buttons have a lower angle slope as seen on the screen, and the scroll wheel is not prominent as on the Superlight. It's simply a different shape and a smaller mouse. When comparing the X2V2 mini to the X-shaped Orochi V2, the mouse feels wider and a bit longer, but it doesn't feel my palm as the Orochi, and that's because the Razer mouse is a bit taller. The Orochi V2 has the hump in the middle, giving a sensation that it is not so small compared to the X2V2. Given my hand size of 18 cm long and 10.5 cm wide, I find both mice good for fingertip or claw grip, but not the best for palm grip. The Pulsar software is lightweight. I like it as it's not using too many resources like the ones from Logitech, Razer or SteelSeries. In the performance section, you can adjust the mouse sensitivity, define the DPI values, adjust LOD values to your liking. The other important section in the software is the button assignment section, where you can enable or disable motion sync and adjust the debounce time, which I recommend to set it to 0. Looking at the weight of the X2V2 mini, my unit weighs 51 grams. It's the lightest of the bunch. I'm not sure if the wide variant weighs more. When weighing the G Pro Superlight, my unit without a dongle storage cover sits at below 60 grams, 59 to be more precise. Moving on to the Orochi V2, using the battery that is on the scale, which is quite light, the overall weight sits at 66 grams using the default backplate. The heaviest of the bunch is the rival-free, sitting at 103 grams using the 2 lithium batteries like seen next to the Orochi V2. It's double the weight of the X2V2 mini. When I tested all mice, I used the same USB-C cable with the same USB-C to USB-A converter and maintaining the same test area. The distance from the dongle was between 10 and 40 cm depending on the mouse actions. I tried to do the same movements at the same speeds, but being human, there must be some small differences when testing all mice. For testing, I use the software that most should use, and that is Mouse Tester. My advice is to download it and check the mouse to be sure that when clicking the connection is stable at 1000 Hz, as I had issues. Because of some software I had or some Windows 11 latest updates, my connection was sitting at around 125 Hz when holding down the left mouse button, which is 8 milliseconds, and the mouse felt laggy. As these mice have set a 1000 polling rate, you should see results like in this graph and as seen in the previous update time graph. At a 1000 Hz polling rate, the update time graph should be hovering at 1 millisecond. Now let's check if the Pulsar X2V2 matches the performance of the big brands like Logitech or Razer. As we can see, all mice have a stable polling rate of 1000 without instability or some odd outliers. Even older mice like the rival-free wireless have a stable polling rate regardless of the manufacturer. Maybe 5 years ago Logitech or Razer were the obvious choice, but now probably most brands caught up to them and this can be a good alternative. In these graphs, you should worry if there are a lot of dots sitting at values way below 1000, as this means polling rate instability and you will experience sensor lag. When doing small movements, things like micro adjustment and FPS games, we can see that the mouse behaves normally, like any wire mouse, by reducing the polling rate. Small movements don't need so many readouts, and this is why we can see this. This is normal behavior with slow movements as opposed to fast movements that should saturate the polling rate. And now I will show you the exact polling rate values when doing slow movements. I'm showing here the Pulsar X2V2 on the left and the Orochi V2 on the right. This app can be downloaded directly from Razer's webpage and it refreshes the values displayed every second. Next, I'm gonna demonstrate that even when using a wired-only mouse like the Viper AK, we have the same behavior. I have first tested with the polling rate set to 1000. As you can see on the screen, with small, slow movements, the wireless and the wired mouse behaves the same. This is how mice work and this is the normal behavior. This kind of adjustments are not saturating a 1000 Hz polling rate, but it will on a polling rate lower than 500. And this is why the 1000 polling rate is best suited for almost all users out there. Now have a look at when I'm using a 4000 polling rate. When doing micro adjustments, the polling rate never reaches even 1000. On the screen, we have the polling rate for the X2V2 and the Viper AK set to 1000. As you can see, both mice perform the same when making medium to fast movements. There is no obvious difference between the wireless Pulsar X2V2 Mini and the wired Viper AK. The Viper AK has the best hardware that you can fit in a mouse right now, and it's wired. Its polling rate can be affected by the wireless interference, but you will not be able to tell the difference when doing mouse movements. I believe you will not feel any click latency difference as well, but I don't have an LDAT to validate that claim. The Pulsar X2V1 was plagued on release with a lot of issues. The V2 seems to be a success, at least the first batch. I was looking on the internet for issues reported by people and I couldn't find any major ones, not even minor ones. My unit has almost no pre or post driver when it comes to the mouse 1 and 2 buttons. The mouse feet are good and the scroll wheel is responsive and nice to click. Sometimes I feel that it's too easy to actuate, but this is when I compare it to my other mice. Wireless mice are very good now, and I'm not referring to only the ones from Razer or Logitech. My advice when choosing one is to look at reviews from House Gaming on YouTube and on Tech Power Up or Artings on the internet to see if the one you want is not having any issues that are mostly related to firmware issues nowadays. When it comes to the Pulsar X2V2 Mini, I think it's a fantastic mouse. It's lightweight, it has top-notch sensor, good battery life around 10 days, and it's a good option for those looking for small mice. Is the best mouse out there? No, as the best one is shape related. Is it better than the Superlight? No, but it's not worse either. The price is more or less the same as the old Superlight, and when the 4K dongle will be available, it will almost match the Superlight 2 or Viper 2 Pro price.